Hey guys, what's up? It's Mr. Selby here. Just gonna do a little bit of a review on some angle stuff, and we're gonna go a little bit into angle measure today. All right. So, in the past, we've measured line segments. Today, we're gonna measure and classify angles and identify and use congruent angles and the bisector of an angle. All right. So you might be wondering, like, hey, Mr. Selby, why are we learning this? What is the point? Well, guys, the point of this is that we've measured line segments in the past. And we've used the segment addition postulate, meaning if you have a segment and you take a part of it and add another part of it, it equals the whole segment. It's the same thing for angles, and we're going to go a little bit into that today. All right, but the main thing we're going to do is we're going to classify angles by their measurement. So acute, obtuse, right. Hopefully you guys remember a little bit of those. And then we're also going to use congruent angles and bisectors to figure out what angle measures are. Okay? All right. So this is our vocabulary. I think that's all of it. Nope. Yep. No, I think that was all of it. So this is our entire vocabulary for this chapter. This is part 2 of this lesson. Just a quick reminder. Please go back and watch part 1. If you haven't watched part 1, please go back and watch it. Also, it's not a bad idea to rewatch it. All right, Mr. Sub is a big fan of rewatching things. All right, I'm on like my 3rd time going through The Office, and I gotta say it gets better every single time. Take my advice, rewatch things all the time. It's great, especially Mr. Selby's geometry videos. I rewatch those all the time. They're fantastic. All right, so let's talk about this. All right, so whenever you see like a little box here, that means it's a right angle. All right, this symbol means it's a 90-degree angle, and right angles are always 90 degrees, right? It's kind of like it's like 90 degrees. This is kind of all the corners in your house are all 90 degrees. Where the wall meets the ceiling is hopefully 90 degrees. If not, you have a slanted ceiling. You should probably get that checked out. And the same thing with your floor. When the wall hits the floor, it should be 90 degrees. Otherwise, again, it's slanted. All right, so acute angle is less than 90 degrees. All right, so try to imagine this is your floor and this is your wall, and if this is falling in, that is not good. All right, your house. I guess you could kind of imagine this is like the attic floor, and this is like the roof. Okay, that's an acute angle, right? So, acute angles are angle degrees that are less than 90 degrees. So this would be 90, this hash line right here, and there's a little 90-degree symbol. So anything less than 90, if it's 89.9999 degrees, 89.999 degrees, it's still an acute angle. Anything less than 90. Right angles are only 90 degrees. If it's 90.001, it's an obtuse angle. All right, anything larger than 90 is obtuse until it hits 180. All right, if it hits 180, it's a straight line. Okay, but anything, so this is a right angle right here. As you can see, it's larger. All right, it's larger than 90 degrees. Therefore, it's going to be obtuse. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is take a second, see if you can measure this on your own and figure out whether it's right, acute, or obtuse. All right, hopefully you're able to figure it out. All right, it is a right angle. And you can tell that it's a right angle. First of all, we got to figure out where TUV is, okay, or TYV. So here's TYV, right? So this is actually a really feisty problem here. As you can see, TYX is a straight line, right? That's a straight line right there. TYX is a straight line. So we notice that straight lines are 180 degrees, right? So if this is a right angle, right, that must mean that this is 90 degrees. If you add both these angles together, they equal 180. So if you do 180 minus 90, it also equals 90. So TYV must be 90 degrees. So it's a right angle. That was a little bit of a tricky problem. If you got that one right, probably pretty good with angles. I'm pretty impressed if you got that one right. If you didn't get that one right, don't be too upset. This might sound crazy, but Mr. Selby has gotten a problem wrong once before. It's a long time ago, but it's happened. So it happens to the best of us. All right, so measure WYT and classify it as right, acute, or obtuse. So why don't you guys take a quick second, see if you can figure it out. All right, so WYT is this to this to this. So it's this angle right here. All right, and if you know TYV is 90, TYX is 180. This is in between 90 and 180, so it must be an obtuse angle. Could use a protractor as well. It's always a good option. So as you can see, if you line this up, a protractor with the straight line here, all right, with W, and then you put this little, so there's a circle on all protractors in the middle, and that's where you line up the vertex at. And then you mark this side of the angle, all right, and this side is on the line, all right, mark that, and then it'll tell you it is 130 degrees. You can also find the measure of angle WYV right here. So if you go W, which is on the end line here, YV, this angle goes to 40 degrees. As you can see, whenever you measure the side, whenever you measure a side of an angle that's closer to the other side, all right, you use this the side it starts on with the tens. Okay. If you measure on the opposite side, so as you can see, T is on the opposite side. All right, you would use the tens closest to the slant. All right, so for this one, again, you would need a protractor. I guess it's going to be pretty difficult to get a protractor because we are virtual right now. So, but hopefully you might be able to take a quick look at this TYU and decide what kind of angle it is. All right, hopefully you're able to figure out that it is a 45-degree angle. All right, well, at least that it's an acute angle. I don't think you'd be able to measure it that it's a 45-degree angle unless you're really, really good at marking those things down. TYV is 90, and then TYW here is 130. All right, so hopefully, why don't you guys take a quick second, see if you can guess this out, CZD, and figure out what the measurement on this is. All right, so as you can see, the angle is C to Z, which is the vertex, to D. Okay, so what you do when you have a protractor, again, you line the little dot here in the middle onto the vertex. You use this end side, use one side with the end line, and whatever side you use as the end line, you use the other side. You start on that side from 0, and you go across until you hit the line you're trying to measure, which is D. So you go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. All right? And remember, if it's larger than 90 but less than 180, it is obtuse. So it's going to be 150 degrees and obtuse. All right, try this one now, guys. All right, so this one was CZE. All right, so you start here at C, go to Z, and then go up to E. And as you can see, it is 90 degrees. It is a right angle. You can see that this is a straight line in between CZX, and if this side's a right angle, this side must also be a right angle. So it's 90 degrees, and that means it's right. All right, go ahead and try and measure this one on your own. All right, so this one's DZX. All right, as you can see, X is on this end line right here. So you always start with the side that's on an end line, and you count from there. So you would actually count 10, 20, 30. All right, not 170, 160, 150. It'd be 10, 20, 30. All right, because you always start 0 on the end line here. And if it's below 90 degrees, which 30 is, it's an acute angle. All right. Interior design. Wall stickers of standard shapes are often used to provide a stimulating environment for a young child's room. A 5-pointed star sticker is shown with vertices labeled. Find the measure of GBH and the measure of angle HCI, if GBH is congruent to HCI, GBH equals 2x plus 5, and HCI equals 3x minus 10. All right. Step 1, solve for x. So GBH and HCI are equal. All right, it tells you that right here in the problem. It tells you GBH and HCI are congruent. They equal the same thing. So GBH equals 2x plus 5. HCI also equals 2x plus 5. If HCI equals 3x minus 10, GBH also equals 3x minus 10. So that means 2x plus 5 equals 3x minus 10. Boom. GBH, 2x plus 5. HCI, 3x minus 10. They're equal. So those are equal. Add 10 to each side to get rid of this minus 10. And then you're left with 2x. Well, if you add 10 to this side, you get rid of that minus 10, and you're left with 3x. But if you add 10 to this side, you also got to add 10 to this side. So you get 2x plus 5 turns into 2x plus 15 equals 3x. Subtract 2x from each side. Take 2x away from here. You're left with just 15. Take 2x away from 3x because you got to do both sides. You're left with 1x. 15 equals x. Then you got to sub it in. So you know GBH equals 2x plus 5, and you know x equals 15. You sub it in. 2 times x plus 5 becomes 2 times 15 plus 5. 2 times 15 equals 30. 30 plus 5 equals 35. And since GBH is 35, you know HCI is also 35 because they're the same. All right. This one's a toughie. Go ahead and try it out on your own. See what you can do. All right. Hopefully you're able to solve this. All right. And you should have gotten 105 and 105. All right. So first of all, it tells us the measure BHC and DGE. All right. If they're congruent. So that means they equal the same thing. So if you look at C, you know that 35 does not equal 105. They're not the same. So C can't be right. D can't be right? Because they're supposed to equal the same thing. So it's either A or B. Okay? So what you got to do is you got to solve for x. And luckily, Mr. Selby did that. And I think that, yeah, that's our last slide. So what I'm going to do is bring up a Word document where I solve for it. So as you can see, BHC and DGE are congruent, right? BHC equals 4x plus 5, and DGE equals 3x plus 30. So I just made them equal to each other. Subtracted 5 from both sides. Take away 5 from here, you're left with just 4x. Take away 5 from here, you're left with 3x plus 25. Subtract 3x from both sides. Take away 3x from here, you're left with x. Take away 3x from here, you're left with 25. X equals 25. Then you sub it in. 4x plus 5 equals 4 times 25 plus 5, which is the same thing as 100 plus 5, which equals 105. And if BHC equals 105, that must mean DGE equals 105 because it's the same thing. All right? Hopefully you're able to figure that out, and hopefully everything worked out well. If it did not, please reach out to Mr. Selby and get some help. Get some help, please. All right? Hope everything's going well with you guys. Hope you're staying happy, healthy, and hydrated. Stay safe out there, and come to office hours. All right. Have a great day, guys.